Girl Scouts was founded on March 12, 1912 in Savannah, Georgia by Juliette Gordon-Low, who was also known as Daisy. In 1923, Daisy was diagnosed with breast cancer. She kept her illness a secret and continued to work diligently for Girl Scouts until she died from breast cancer complications in 1927. Juliette Gordon-Low was my original inspiration for creating this DVD. As I interviewed the people necessary to make this an informative video, my inspiration became all of them. Hi, I am Julia Lewis, a cadet Girl Scout in Florence, South Carolina. I'm working on my Silver Award, and the project I chose was to create this educational DVD for Girl Scouts. I want to help raise breast cancer awareness and educate even the youngest Girl Scout about the changes they can make in their lives to help decrease their risk of breast cancer. I want to use my scouting experience along with the knowledge available today to make Girl Scouts the largest organization of young women who are fully aware and ready to fight this dreadful disease. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout. Number 11, a Girl Scout is always aware. Did you know? Juliette Gordon-Low was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1923, but kept it a secret and continued working for the Girl Scouts. She died January 17, 1927 from this cancer and was buried in her Girl Scout uniform in Laurel Grove Cemetery in Savannah. What is breast cancer? Breast cancer is a malignant tumor that starts from cells of the breast. A malignant tumor is a group of cancer cells that may invade surrounding tissue or spread or metastasize to distant areas of the body. The disease occurs primarily in women, but men can get it too. Former U.S. Senator Edward W. Brooke is a breast cancer survivor. His goal is to raise awareness among men and their healthcare providers. Types of breast cancer. Ductal carcinoma is cancer in the milk ducts of the breast. The ducts are the tubes that carry the breast milk to the nipple. Lobular carcinoma is cancer in the lobules where the breast milk is made. Less common forms of breast cancer include inflammatory, medullary, mucinous, tubular, and Paget's disease. These are just some of the many types of breast cancer. Breast cancer classifications. In situ cancers, meaning that they are in place. Ductal and lobular carcinomas that have not spread beyond the original site are considered in situ. Invasive cancer occurs when the cancer spreads to surrounding breast tissue. This is not the same as metastasis, which occurs when breast cancer cells break away from the primary tumor and spread to other organs. Why does breast cancer grow? Everyone has genes in their body that controls the way their cells divide and grow. When this doesn't work properly, an error or mutation occurs. These mutations can be inherited or can be spontaneous. Most breast cancers are from spontaneous mutations. We don't really know what causes all of these mutations. Researchers have identified two types of genes, oncogene and tumor suppressor gene, that are important to cell growth. These are the inherited gene mutations, accounting for less than 10% of breast cancers. Errors in these genes turn normal cells into cancerous ones. Studies on gene mutation show that they play a big role in ovarian cancer. Remember, cancerous cells could be growing out of control before the disease appears. Screening to find any early changes is so important. The earlier a problem is found, the greater the chances are for survival. There is a 98% 5-year survival rate with early detection and treatment. The risk factors. Two of the greatest risk factors for breast cancer are being a woman and getting older. Personal or family history of breast cancer, genetic predisposition, defect or mutation in certain genes that are supposed to help protect you from cancer, radiation exposure, excess weight, early onset of menstrual cycle before age of 12, late menopause, first pregnancy at older age, after age 30, race. White women are at greater risk of breast cancer, but African American women are more likely to die from the disease. Research is being done to find the causes, but we do know that African American women are often diagnosed with later stage disease. Typically, younger women under 40 have more aggressive breast cancers. Another group of women at higher risk are the Ashkenazi Jewish descent. Hormone replacement therapy, smoking, and excessive use of alcohol. Breast cancer symptoms may include a lump in the breast, typically painless, a clear or bloody discharge from the nipple, retraction or indentation of nipple, change in size or contours of breast, flattening or indentation of skin over the breast, redness or pitting of skin over the breast. Anything that is not normal to your breast should be brought to the attention of a doctor. Breast self-exams are important so that you know how your breast typically looks and feels. Breast cancer screening methods. A mammogram is an X-ray of the breast. A mammogram can find cancers before they can be felt. Clinical breast exam is when your healthcare provider will visually examine and carefully feel the entire breast and underarm area. This should be part of your regular medical checkup. The breast self-exam, as your period is ending each month, look at your breast and feel for any changes. If you no longer have periods, do the breast self-exam on the same day each month. If you notice any changes, contact your doctor and have them check the area. Breast cancer diagnostic methods. Diagnostic mammogram. This mammogram includes more views of your breast than a screening mammogram. Ultrasound. This form of screening uses sound waves instead of X-rays to look inside your breast. It can tell the difference between a liquid-filled cyst and a solid mass. It is often used in addition to a mammogram. Needle aspiration. A cyst can be an abnormal lump that is filled with liquid. The doctor does a needle aspiration by inserting a very thin needle and drawing out the fluid. The fluid and cells from the cyst are examined, and the doctor then determines if more diagnostic tests are necessary. Biopsy. If there is any doubt after a needle aspiration or if the lump is solid, then a biopsy is done to remove a portion of the tissue for a closer examination. If the lump turns out to be a benign tumor or cyst, then it's not cancer. A lymph node biopsy and dissection is done to classify the stage of the cancer. A sentinel node biopsy is used to allow your surgeon to determine which lymph nodes need to be removed. There are other imaging methods available to assist in detecting breast cancer. However, they have not been proven to work well enough for all people for routine use. Some of these include an MRI, a PET scan, scintigraphy, and lymphatic mapping. Stereotactic imaging. This special type of mammography machine is used to locate the exact position of the area in question, then merges the images on the computer to form a three-dimensional image of the breast. This helps guide the doctor precisely to the suspicious area of the breast for a biopsy. What happens if you find a lump? Patient finds a lump during breast self-examination, clinical self-examination, or on a mammogram. Patient talks to primary care physician or gynecologist. Physician will contact a surgeon for further testing and follow-up. He or she will also refer the patient to a medical oncologist and a radiation oncologist if necessary. Consult with these physicians will take place, appointments made, and a plan of therapy will be made. Stages of breast cancer and treatment options. Stage 0, cancer cells are present in lining of the breast lobule or duct, but have not spread. Treatment options are surgery and/or radiation and/or hormonal treatment. Stage 1, cancer has spread to nearby tissue in the breast, considered invasive at this stage. Stage 2, tumor has ranged from 2 to 5 centimeters and may have spread to lymph nodes. Stage 3A, the tumor is 5 centimeters or greater, or any size with extensive growth into lymph nodes underarm. Treatment options for stage 1, 2, and 3A are surgery and/or lymph node dissection of node positive and/or radiation and/or chemotherapy and/or hormonal treatment. Stage 3B and C, known as locally advanced cancer. Tumor can be any size but has spread to skin of the breast or tissue of chest wall. Stage 4, known as metastatic cancer. Cancer has spread to other parts of the body such as bones, liver, lungs, or brain. Treatment options for stages 3B, C, and 4 are chemotherapy to shrink the tumor before surgery, plus surgery and radiation, and/or post-surgical chemotherapy and/or hormonal treatment, or chemotherapy and/or radiation and/or hormonal treatment. Another option is hormonal treatment and/or chemotherapy or palliative care to reduce breast cancer symptoms. Treatment options. Breast cancer surgery. A lumpectomy is when the surgeon removes the breast cancer, some normal tissue around it, and usually some of the lymph nodes in the underarm. This is also called a partial mastectomy. Total or simple mastectomy. The surgeon removes all of the breast tissue. Modified radical mastectomy. The surgeon removes the breast, the lining above the chest muscle, and some of the underarm lymph nodes. Radical mastectomy, rarely done now, removes all of the breast tissue, chest muscle, and most of the lower, middle, and upper lymph nodes. Reconstructive surgery is a procedure using plastic surgery to recreate a breast. Radiation therapy is the use of high-energy rays, usually X-rays, to kill cancer cells. Chemotherapy is the use of anti-cancer drugs to treat cancer. Hormone-blocking therapy blocks hormones such as estrogen and progesterone. Biological therapy attacks proteins and new blood vessels produced by cancer. Clinical trials in progress looking at internal radiation, brachytherapy, and intraoperative therapy as treatment for breast cancer. These methods may become alternative options in the future. Palliative care, a combination of symptom and pain management therapies intended to comfort and support those with a life-threatening illness. Prevention. Lifestyle factors. Regular self-exams. Know your body. Annual mammograms should begin at age 40 for women with average risk. Women at higher risk or with family history may need to start a regular mammogram at a younger age. Ask a doctor what is right for you. Clinical breast exam. Breast examination done by your healthcare provider, recommended once every 3 years from ages 20 to 39, then once a year from age 40 and older. Should be coordinated around the time of your yearly mammogram. Limit alcohol. Studies show that the use of alcohol may increase the risk of breast cancer. Maintain a healthy weight. Avoid long-term hormone therapy. Stay physically active. Build physical activity with your daily routine. Emotional health. Keep a healthy attitude, do things to make you happy, and bring balance to your life. Have faith in yourself and learn to get in touch with the spiritual side of you through meditation or prayer. Eat foods high in fiber. Quit smoking. Avoid exposure to pesticides, and keep up with all other regular appointments with your healthcare provider. Chemoprevention is the use of certain medications to decrease the breast cancer risk in high-risk women. Preventive surgery or prophylactic mastectomy. Young women and breast cancer. In 2005, less than 5% of all breast cancer cases occurred in women under age 40. Women who are diagnosed at a younger age are more likely to have a mutated gene that is important in the development of breast cancer. Diagnosing breast cancer in women at a younger age can be difficult. By the time a lump can be felt in a younger woman, it is often large enough and advanced enough to lower the survival rate. Oftentimes they are told it is just a cyst and to wait and watch. If you are not satisfied with your answers, get a second or even a third opinion. In the past, young women who have had breast cancer were told they were unable to have children. Today, many doctors say it is fine for women who are free of cancer and not undergoing any treatment become pregnant. Some suggest wait 2 to 5 years to make sure the breast cancer has not returned. If you're looking forward to having children after your cancer treatment, talk with your doctor about your options. Support for young women with breast cancer. Young women may have special concerns different from those of older women. The right support group can give you strength and friendship. Many larger hospitals have or can refer you to cancer support groups in your area. Other organizations that can help are Susan G. Komen for the Cure, the American Cancer Society, Fertile Hope, Young Survival Coalition, Breast Cancer Network of Strength. New research. Retinoids, a natural or synthetic form of vitamin A, may have the ability to destroy or slow the growth of cancer cells. Flaxseed appears to decrease estrogen production, which may slow the growth of breast cancer tumors. These are two of the many things that are being researched about cancer treatment and prevention. Statistics. It is expected that 192,370 people will be diagnosed with breast cancer in 2009, and 1,910 of these will be men. It is also expected that 40,610 people will die from the disease, and 440 of these will be men. White women have the highest incidence of breast cancer. 5-year survival rate is now 98%. Mammograms can detect breast cancer 1 to 3 years before you can feel a lump. Mammography can pick up cancer too small to be felt during a clinical exam. What can we do? Support breast cancer research. Make sure your donation goes to a reputable charity by checking www.charitynavigator.org. Become a volunteer in a local organization. Encourage family members to get tested regularly. Follow screening guidelines and keep up with regular doctor visits. Help raise awareness through education. Girl Scouts can help through awareness. Become aware of breast health care and start your own regimen of physical activity, nutrition, and maintain emotional and spiritual well-being. Education. Present information to your troop and or the public. Encourage family members to have yearly screenings during their medical checkups. Participation. Health fairs or educational events. Donation, time or talent. Girl Scouts, you are now aware, so take the challenge. Go out and help make everyone aware. You're never alone. If breast surgery is your treatment option, remember that numbers of women have already been in the same situation. They have had the same fears, tough decisions to make, been through surgery, and have recovered and are living full lives. Many of these women are willing to talk with you and listen to you. Ask a member of your healthcare team how to get in touch with the groups in your area, like Susan G. Komen for the Cure, the American Cancer Society's Reach to Recovery program, and the YWCA Encore Plus program. You may also find these and other support groups online. Other resources: the American Cancer Society, Reach to Recovery, the American Society of Clinical Oncology, American Society of Plastic Surgeons, Cancer Care for Online Support, National Comprehensive Cancer Network, Susan G. Komen for the cure, National Cancer Institute's Cancer Information Service, Chemotherapy and You, a guide to self-help during cancer treatment, the Breast Cancer Survivor Manual, Radiation Therapy and You, a guide to self-help during cancer treatment. Footprints in the sand. One night, I dreamed I was walking along the beach with the Lord. Many scenes from my life flashed across the sky. In each scene, I noticed footprints in the sand. Sometimes there were 2 sets of footprints. Other times there were 1 set of footprints. This bothered me because I noticed that during the low periods of my life, when I was suffering from anguish, sorrow, or defeat, I could see only 1 set of footprints. So I said to the Lord, "You promised me, Lord, that if I followed you, you would walk with me always. But I have noticed that during the most trying periods of my life, there have only been 1 set of footprints in the sand. Why, when I need you most, you have not been there for me?" The Lord replied, "My son, my precious child, I love you and would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only 1 set of footprints, it was then that I carried you." Nothing you do can guarantee your life will be cancer-free. But if you practice healthy habits and consult your doctor about extra measures you can take, you may at least reduce your risk of this potentially fatal disease. Juliet Gordon-Low wanted Girl Scouts to grow. And 82 years after her death, I am standing here in front of the Florence PD Service Center of the Eastern South Carolina Girl Scout Council. Her goals have been surpassed. The goals of this video were to educate you about breast cancer, show you the stages of the disease and how they are treated, present different methods of early detection, and provide ways to change and improve your lifestyle so you are healthier. This may help lower your risk of not only breast cancer, but other deadly diseases. Girl Scouts are the women of the future. We will be the leaders, the teachers, the inventors, the mothers, the wives, and the entrepreneurs of tomorrow. We can't do the job well if we aren't healthy. Maybe the 11th Girl Scout law should be a Girl Scout is always aware. I challenge all of you to take what you have learned and help spread the awareness nationwide. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the numerous people who helped make this presentation possible. You are such an inspiration. I am deeply grateful for all of your assistance and sponsorship. Today I'm interviewing Miss Cindy Watson, a 5-year breast cancer survivor and an employee here at the Girl Scout Center.
Yes.
Miss Cindy, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for interviewing me.
No problem. What was your first indication that something was wrong?
Well, I noticed a lump myself, and I went to my doctor, and we talked about it, and we thought it was a cyst. And then I noticed that I was having some discomfort when I would sleep on my stomach. And I noticed that the skin had turned a little red around that area. And so I went back to the doctor, and we did a biopsy, and then it came back in a few days that it was not what we wanted it to be. It was not a cyst after all. It was breast cancer.
Was there a family history of breast cancer?
Not really. I had some third cousins, my mother tells me, that's on her side that's, distant, but no one really in my family.
Prior to the onset of your first indicator, had you followed the recommended precautions such as the routine self-exams, regular mammograms, healthy diet and exercise, and checkups with your doctor?
Well, I did. I went through this list, and I did do the routine self-exams, and I did have the regular mammograms. I had my first one at 40, which is what was recommended, and I was diagnosed at 44, and I wasn't due to have my next one until I was 45. So I was doing that. And the checkups with my doctor, I go on a regular basis. But the healthy diet and exercise is not so much, I'll be honest.
What course of diagnostics and treatment did you follow?
Okay, we had my biopsy on March 5th, 2004. I can tell you my whole outline. I was diagnosed on March 11th. My doctor called me back into his office, so I knew something was up. Usually they just tell you over the phone. I had surgery on March 26th, which was 2 weeks later. And then I had 8 rounds of chemo with Dr. Pavy from April 16th through September 17th. Then I had 33 radiation treatments from November 5th until December 23rd. And then I had a hysterectomy on December 28th. And then I started anti-estrogen medicine, which is Arimidex. And that was in March, the next March. And then I had to have another biopsy in September of 2007. They thought they found something in my mammogram, but it turned out it was calcium deposits, so it was okay.
Okay. What impact did this have on you and your family, both physically and emotionally?
I talked with my husband about this last night because I thought, I know what impact it kind of had on me, but I didn't really know how it impacted him. And he said that we found out that we could cope with major changes in our lifestyle because he had to pretty much take over everything for 6 months. When I would do my chemo treatments, I would be too tired, and for 3 days I would lie in bed, and I wouldn't do anything. And we had just gotten a new puppy, and he even had to train the puppy. So he found out he could do a lot more than he thought he could.
How did you overcome the side effects from the chemo?
Well, the first thing I did was pray. And that was when I was first diagnosed, that was my first step, And I claimed that I would be healed and that I had blessings and that I would just sail through. I had many people tell me they could not believe I was a cancer patient, because of how well I did do. And I would sleep and rest a lot. And I ate a lot of hamburger steaks while I was doing chemo because that gave me energy and helped build up my blood. And then I would have friends that would drive me to work after I had my actual chemo treatment because I could work that afternoon. But then like 3 days later, I'd do it on Friday, and then I'd come back to work on Wednesday afternoon. They'd pick me up, and then Thursday I'd be back good to go again. And then when I did radiation, there was a special ointment that they recommended that I use, and as soon as I'd had my treatment, I would put that on, and then at night after when I went to bed, I'd put it on again, and that really helped. And there was a little minor itching, but overall I didn't have any trouble with that. And whenever my hair fell out, I wore hats, and that was kind of cool because I always wanted to wear hats. And so I really had the opportunity to do that. I didn't wear a wig but it was during the summer and it was so hot. So I'd come to work and I'd take my hat off. And everybody got used to me, because I didn't have hair. I was just a little fuzz head. But it was really kind of cool. You find out how hot hair really is.
That's funny. How long was it from the first indication that you were in remission?
I went through 10 months of treatment. So I guess, that's, that goes into our next question, which is how long I've been cancer-free. But according to Dr. Pavy, your anniversary of date is when you were diagnosed. So I was diagnosed on March 11th, 2004, which would give me 5.5 years now. I know, yay.
How long have you been cancer-free?
You said that. Yeah, about 5.5 years, which I'm very excited. 5 years was a big mile marker there. I really was happy with that.
Has this changed your lifestyle in any way?
Well, not so much my lifestyle, but it has changed. I am a more spiritual person now. I found out that through your faith, and if you claim your blessings, that you do receive them. And that was something that I had a mantra was, thank you, Jesus, for healing me. Thank you, Jesus, for sealing me. Thank you, Jesus, I'm cancer-free. And it just, I would say that every day, all the time. And, and it came to be that I am.
Do your family members follow the recommended guidelines for precaution and awareness?
Most of them do. Like I say, our diet and exercise, we're not real big on that. Which I don't know a lot of people who are. We're in the South and we like to eat fried chicken and stuff like that. So, but as far as going to our doctors and getting our mammograms and all, but I did notice that after I was diagnosed and went through treatments, my sisters took it more seriously. Where before they just thought, oh, that's somebody else, that won't ever happen to us. But they do their mammograms and they get their, checked out much better now than they did.
What would you like to share with young people about your experiences, and do you have any recommendations or suggestions for them?
Well, I would like to share that there are much worse things than cancer. I mean, I had never been exposed to cancer. I did not have any family members or close friends who had ever been through cancer. And whenever I went through my first chemo, I met a lady who was probably 80 some years old, and she was from Dillon County. And she told me, she said, don't worry about the cancer. She says, you know, it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. And while some cancers are as bad, if you do what you should, like you say, go to your doctor, get your mammograms, and follow the guidelines, then you really should do what your doctor says should something come up, and you should come out okay. And, you know, following my doctor's orders was hard for me. I'm a very headstrong person. And my GP will tell you that I will sometimes argue the point and think I know as much as he does. But whenever Dr. Pavey told me, I just said, okay, and I did it. And, you know, just do what your doctor says and just do the best you can and just believe it, you know. And a lot of people have told me that they were very inspired by and I really believe that I was chosen to have breast cancer for other people so they could see that it's not as bad as you think, that you can have breast cancer, you can go through treatments, you can lose your hair, you can not have eyebrows and eyelashes, but you can use eyeliner, and it you know, it's okay. You can be different for a little while, and it'll work out. You know, you just keep on going. It's not the end of the world, or it wasn't for me. So.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
this interview.
And I'm so glad that you chose me to do it.
I'm glad to. Thank you so much for having me interview, Miss Lucy.
I'm happy to do it.
What was your first indication that something was wrong?
Well, I found a lump in my breast, and I could see it and I could feel it. And that's when I went to my doctors. And I told them about it, and they actually told me not to worry about it too much because they felt I was too young to have breast cancer, and I had no family history and no known risk factors. So they were very surprised when I was actually diagnosed 2 years later with invasive breast cancer.
Prior to the onset of your first indicator, had you followed the recommended precautions such as routine self-exams, regular mammograms, a healthy diet and exercise, and checkups with your doctor?
I would say most of those, yes. I certainly was seeing my doctor on a regular basis, although I was under 40. So screening for mammograms had not been recommended to me until I reached 40. Then they suggested regular screenings. I had a healthy, active lifestyle, ate well, didn't have any risk factors. I had my first child before I was 30, did not drink, didn't smoke, didn't have a family history. I did not do regular breast self-exams. I will say that. I didn't do them every month, but I was familiar with my breasts and I knew what was normal for me. And I knew that lump was not normal.
What course of diagnostics and treatment did you follow?
Okay, my doctor recommended that I see a breast surgeon. And I went to the breast surgeon, and the first thing he did was an ultrasound of where that lump was. And we could see on the ultrasound that there was something there. He recommended that I go get a mammogram immediately, which I did. And by immediately, I went straight from his office to the hospital for the mammogram. And then I met with him the next morning, and I was told that it did look like it was breast cancer. However, we hadn't done, at that point, a biopsy, so we did a core needle biopsy that morning. And what they did was basically take little chunks of the tumor out. And they were able to look at those pieces and determine that it was breast cancer. And so then I was scheduled for surgery. I had a lumpectomy, so they removed just the tumor itself and some of the, they want clear margins, so they remove a little bit of extra area around the tumor so that they can make sure there's no cancer in those parts. And I also had what's called a sentinel node biopsy. And what they did was they removed the lymph node closest to that tumor area to see if there was any cancer in there. And in my case, there was no cancer. They took that lymph node and they just cut it up in little pieces so they could look at each little piece. And there was no cancer there, so they did not feel the need to go any further as far as lymph node. After the lumpectomy and the lymph node dissection, I had radiation, which is almost always done in conjunction with a lumpectomy. And I also did chemotherapy. And the chemotherapy was a personal choice for me. We didn't know whether it was necessary or not, but because of my young age, we wanted to make sure that the cancer hadn't spread anywhere else in my body. And so the chemotherapy